guys. Today I'm going to be doing a Q&A. I thought it would be fun because you guys asked so many questions on one of my last Q&As that I did that I couldn't get to hardly any of them. I thought it would be fun today to finish that off and answer any more questions that you guys had because there was a lot of good ones. Oh, by the way, this is that little shop that we're tearing down to put in a greenhouse. So I thought I would go for a little walk today and answer some questions. I thought it would be nice because it's just like a really nice, overcasty, peaceful day out here. But before we jump into the Q&A, I'm excited to say that today's video is sponsored by Hellofresh. For the last 3 years, I have been working with Hellofresh, and they are a meal subscription service. They're actually America's #1 meal kit, and they are that for a reason. Their food is so delicious. They deliver meals directly to your door each week, and they come in an insulated box, and in there have your bags with your food in them and the recipe cards. It has all of the steps for you in there, so you don't have to be a professional chef to be able to do it. It's very, very easy to make the meals. Not only are the meals easy to make, but they are really well balanced and extremely delicious. You have options such as low calorie, carb smart, vegetarian, or pescatarian options if you want. You can save up to 28% by using HelloFresh versus grocery store shopping. It cuts out the stressful meal planning and prepping. You don't have to worry about any of that. So you can just get dinner on the table in about 30 minutes. And then they even have quick and easy options that can take about 20 minutes. HelloFresh has pre-portioned out ingredients, which means that there's less prep for you and less food waste. You can skip a week whenever you need to. You can also change your delivery days or your food preferences. They've also donated over 4 million meals to charity in just 2020 alone amid the coronavirus pandemic. Having this for us, especially in the last few months, has been the most helpful because it's just something we don't have to think about. I can keep my brain on other things and not have to be concerned about what I'm going to eat for dinner. And I know it's healthy, delicious, and really, really quick. I don't have to worry about, the grocery shopping that week or what meals to prep or plan. This week's meal was really, really yummy. They're all yummy. If I'm being honest with you, I don't think I've ever had a meal from HelloFresh that I didn't absolutely love. Let us try a little of everything. That is so good. Who would have thought to make nachos out of potatoes? These are a hit. If you're gonna get a vegetarian meal, hands down, do try these. They are so yummy. If you guys are interested in checking out HelloFresh, I would highly recommend them. They really are that good. If you're wondering, is it? I've seen some sponsorships and things like that here and there. Yes, it really is. It's not just people saying that. It's delicious. The food is incredibly good, incredibly easy to make, and it's just so nice not to have to worry about, what am I gonna eat? I don't know what to have for dinner tonight. You just pick one out of the fridge and go, and they're always good. If you guys are interested in checking out HelloFresh, you guys can go to hellofresh.com and use my code RawBeauty12 to get 12 free meals, including free shipping. And I thank you so much to HelloFresh for sponsoring this portion of the video. And now we're gonna get into the Q&A, answer the questions that you guys have. No makeup, just chat. We have this trail behind the house that, I don't know if you can see here, but it kind of just takes you right into the back of the woods. And we set up a trail cam out here. Since we set it up, we put it up for 1 week and then we went out and checked it. And there were so much bobcat and coyote activity back here. People always ask me, are you afraid to be outside because of it? It's not going to happen. They are not going to come up to me. They are not going to come attack me. They're the type of animals that you will see only on trail cams. You'll never see them in real life. You're not gonna stumble upon a coyote and then it's not gonna attack you. Never say never, because you never know if they're gonna just pop out, but I have at least never ever seen one in real life. But we have, I don't know if you guys saw on our Sweet Life of Zach and Kristi Instagram, there are bears out here. We had a bear walk directly next to our back porch and go and eat every apple off of all of our apple trees in one night. So yeah, there's bears out here. This is pretty cool. We have this little area right here, and the trail goes all the way down this big hill. And we thought we would put a cute little whimsical cottage back here. It'd be so fun. Okay, so let's get into the questions. First question is, how do you deal with loneliness? Well, I wish I could say I dealt with it well. I think it's easy to think that people online have, I don't know, maybe I do this as well, but I think everybody has a ton of friends. I always used to see people with relationships like the show Friends and be like, why don't I have that? Do a lot of people have that? I don't really know if that's as common of a thing as I think it is. I only spend my time with my husband and my baby, so I have friends, but they all live quite a ways away from me, and in pandemic and everything, I haven't seen any of them, so it's quite lonely. I don't really deal with it all that well, I would say. I don't do anything to deal with it. I just kind of cry to Zach sometimes about just missing people. We had a contractor over at the house the other day, and it was the first person I had seen in literally months, and I didn't want him to leave. I was like, please stay. because it was so nice to just be around another human. Someone asked, will my baby eventually go to daycare? No. We work from home, so that won't be necessary. I just also want to be around him all the time, and there's nothing wrong with daycare. I just don't think I need it right now. This question is, what is something that surprised you about motherhood? For me, I think I knew I would love him. Obviously, I knew I would love my baby, but I didn't realize it was going to be so all-encompassing and so much love that I tend to cry every single day. They say the term bittersweet was created for watching your children grow, and it is absolutely true, because it's amazing to watch him grow and to see him developing, but at the same time it's crushing because he's not my tiny little newborn infant baby anymore. He's almost 6 months old and he is big. I mean, he is like 17 and a half, almost 18 pounds. He's sitting up on his own. He's growing so fast, and I just didn't realize how engulfing the love would be. Like last night, I literally was sobbing for quite a while at just how fast he's growing. It's hard. It's really hard. I just didn't realize how much of me it would consume. Like, I am all consumed by him, and I'm literally obsessed with him. I love him more than I knew love could exist. I mean, I know love. I love my cats. I love my husband. I love my family. But this is like next level. Like, it's just insane. I just didn't know it was possible. So many people want to know about baby number 2. Are we going to have another one? And if you had asked me 2 months ago, which you did in a Q&A, I said, I don't think so. If you ask me right now in this moment, no, I don't think I want to have a second one, because it's more important for him to have a healthy mom than it is for him to have a sibling. And I still stand by that. If you're somebody that doesn't want to have a second one, it's totally fine to have one kid. Now, in the midst of postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, and like my severe panic and everything like that I had afterwards, I had severe baby blues, all of that. Like, it was bad. Wish I could just like give you like 5 seconds of how bad I felt and you'd be like, but now that the fog has lifted and I feel completely normal, like I feel completely back to myself, I don't feel like I have any sort of postpartum anxiety or depression or anything like that anymore. It may come back, but as of right now, I feel totally just like myself before, because the fog has lifted of the most difficult parts that I feel like out of babyhood. The first 3.5 months were brutal. I'd say 4.5 months even were like just literally brutal. And I remember before I had him, I was talking to my friends, and my friend who has 4 children told me the first 4.5 months are really, really hard, but something happens at 4.5 where it's like you come out of the fog and then you start slowly feeling a little more human again, and you stop kind of arguing with your partner as much, and you stop. It's just like things start to get a little bit better. And then it was like literally on the dot, 4.5 months. I remember looking at my husband and thinking, this is what she was talking about, because it did just feel different. And I think it's that he's becoming more independent. It's almost like he's frustrated in his little baby body, and when he can't do something, it makes him so mad. But now that he's being able to do those things, he's becoming just a joy to be around. He's really incredible to be around. He's so funny, he's so silly, and it's getting so much better for me. And not only just better, but even knowing how hard that all was, if I knew I would have another one just like him, like I would have 2-3 more babies. Like, that's how much I love this baby, even though it was so hard. So we'll see. I'm gonna say never on anything. I'm also going to say that I struggled with infertility for 15 years, and this guy was a little miracle. I don't even know if I can get pregnant again. So I'm not gonna put any pressure on it one way or another. If he is our only baby, he's the only one that we'll ever just love and hug and snuggle and cherish forever. And if there happens to be another one, so be it. I think I would be really afraid of the postpartum experience again, but I think the way that I would get through it is just knowing that it did get better, and so it will again, you know? Like, I just have to not fear it as much as I did, even though it felt so bad and isolating and awful, knowing that even in the worst of it, feeling like it would never get better again, it did. So I would have to tell myself that and just know it's gonna be hard, but it will get better. And that time is so fleeting. I think that's the thing that I've realized, is that when you're in it, it feels like it'll never go away. And then I look back and I'm like, oh, it's 4 months out of an entire lifetime, you know? So I just have to I'd have to do a lot of like telling myself things, but I think I could get there. That's the #1 question, honestly, baby number 2. Like, I'm not kidding. That's the #1 thing people want to know, which is so funny because my baby's 5 months old. Not even 6 months old yet. How are the cats with the new baby? They're fine. Each one is so different. Mom, or Mimi, she's the best around him. She just kind of like is around. She jumps with soft feet. She doesn't jump with claws, which is really helpful, because Maddie, on the other hand, jumps claws out, and he's so erratic and nervous all the time that it like it's just nerve-wracking to have him around because he has scratched the literal shit out of me, and I really don't want him scratching our little baby because it hurts me so bad as an adult. I can't even imagine on his sensitive little skin. So Maddie's not that great. He's fine. He's taken to wanting to grab kitties and like grab their ears, grab their skin. So like we're constantly having to be like gentle. I mean, he's just really likes the cats a lot. Every time he sees them, he gets so excited. He just wants to grab them. The cats are okay. Belly, on the other hand, she hated him so much that for the first 2 months, she wouldn't even come in the same vicinity as him. Not same room, nowhere. Like she did not have it. She didn't want anything to do with him. Don't look at me. Don't touch me. Don't be around me. And then now she's finally warmed up to where she'll come in the same room. But the cats are indifferent and he loves them so much. Do you miss life before being a mom? I did in the beginning a lot. I still miss certain parts of it, like just the freedom to go do whatever we want whenever we wanted. And my final year of not being a mom was spent in the pandemic. So I didn't get to do all the things that I would have done, you know, had we not been on lockdown and everything. We kind of missed out on the last year of like single life. So I don't anymore. I mean, there are certain parts of it I miss, but honestly, I would never trade this for anything in the world. The only thing I miss, I think, is the freedom to just quickly go do something without having to set up 1,000 arrangements, you know? But at the end of the day, the joy I get from him is 1 billion times more than any sort of thing that I could do. And I cannot imagine my life without him. So yes, there are parts of things that I miss, but none of them are important enough or big enough for me to want to actually change anything. Will you eventually switch to lifestyle content now with baby and property? We are on our other channel. So if you guys are interested in seeing more lifestyle content, things that aren't just beauty or things that aren't just kind of like me, if you want to see more of life and property and yard and landscaping and gardening and all of that kind of stuff, we have a second channel that we upload to lately quite frequently, and we plan to in the future. That's just like a lot of passion is there, and that is the Sweet Life of Zach and Kristi, which I will have linked, so you guys can go check that out. But yeah, we definitely are going to, for sure, but this channel is not going to change that much. I mean, you can see it, I kind of upload what I want when I want to, but it's always been that way. It's not always been just a strictly beauty channel. I'll do like commentary videos or Q&As and things like that. So that's kind of what this channel will stay. This person said, I am 5 months postpartum and still have painful sex. Are you experiencing the same? Sorry if this is TMI for some of you. We finally went ahead. Yeah, it wasn't the most comfortable, but I would say after like the first few minutes, it was fine. Sorry if any of you are like, Kristi. But yeah, it's definitely different. I think it's just more like, feels new again, like the first time. But it's getting better. I'm gonna go sit. I don't wanna walk around anymore because I feel like the camera is shaking. Okay, that's better. I feel like I was walking around and it was so shaky. This question is, are you tired of beauty content? I'm not, but I feel like you guys might be. You know, you just sort of, as a content creator, you sort of judge things off of views. I mean, you hate to do that. I mean, I hate to sit there and analyze every view. But it seems as though those, just like kind of across the board, if I'm being honest, beauty content, unless it's on an app like TikTok or like short form content like on Instagram, I feel like people are becoming less and less interested in it. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just mine, or maybe it's just, I mean, I feel like across the board though, I'm seeing that and hearing that from you guys. Like people are really interested in a lot more like personalized content or things that are straying from just strictly beauty. You guys can let me know. I'm not necessarily tired of it, although I do love talking about other things. Life is so much more than foundation, concealer, and highlighter. Like, I just feel like for most of us, like that's a really, really fun part of life. But in the same token, it's just like really fun to, and not just fun, but like interesting and thought-provoking and deep to talk about other topics. And like if I think for myself, that's where I prefer. Like if I had a choice, like if I'm sitting back and I'm clicking on content, what content am I clicking on? And I'm watching people speak to me. I'm not just necessarily wanting people to like talk about makeup, and if there are certain products I'm interested in, or if I want to see people do like a full face first impressions or try out different hacks or stuff like that, I love doing that too. But for me, life is so interesting to me. Life and the human brain and just like the human experience and all of that to me is like fascinating. So that's what I tend to like to consume, and not only just that, but like gardening content, all of that stuff. So that's that's kind of more my speed. But I love filming it all. I like doing it all. I'm not just like a linear person, you know, so you guys got to let me know what you guys are the most interested in. And I'm happy to make it because I love filming things like this and talking about deeper life stuff. I just feel like all of us have different layers to us and things that we are interested in. And I feel like beauty is just one small facet of that. Is being a mom anything like you thought it would be? Yes, in ways, and no in ways. At least for me, all I can do is speak for myself, and my husband and I agreed on this last night. Before I had him, I would make statements about when I'm a parent, I will do blank. I would never let my kid blank. I don't think I'll ever do blank. All of those things are relevant. Until I had him, all of those things were just like what I saw other parents do and be like, oh, I'm not gonna do that, or I'm gonna do this. Or when you're in it, all of that stuff, like, okay, here's the only way I can explain it. You're thinking of some amorphous blob when you do that. You're thinking of somebody else's child when you're like, oh, I wouldn't do that. You're saying that out of the mindset of like, if that kid were my child, but that kid is not yours. And so when you actually have your own, it's such a different experience because you're not thinking of it in the terms of like that random kid. This is your like angel, sweethearted baby. And so like all the disciplinary things, or I'm not going to do this, or I'm going to say this to him now, when I see his little face and his personality and knowing that like I have full responsibility over this little guy, that's where all of that changed for me, where I don't think any of the things that I thought I would do or think or say or be like are relevant anymore. So is it like I thought? It's way more thoughtful and intense than I thought, because it's not just like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna for sure do this. Because as soon as you have them, you're like, well, should I do that? And I don't want to do that. And he's very sensitive in his own personality. I don't want to say this because I don't want to damage it. And there's just so many different layers to it that like, yes, the moments where we're like sitting down and tickling and laughing, and those moments are like how I pictured the good moments being. But like all of the choices and decisions and parenting that comes with it, and like thoughts and should I do this and should I not do that and what about this, and it's way more intense. I have to really think on it. It's not just something that I'm going to flippantly choose and then be like, ah, shit, I shouldn't have done that. It's just way more intense than I thought. This one says, if you're on the fence about having kids, would you advise against it? You just need to be ready, at least for a while, to have the entirety of your life upheaved. It's a very different and all-consuming time-wise, energy-wise, mental capacity-wise than you might think. It's not something that you can just flippantly do. You can, I guess. I would wait until you are ready. And there's always that, like, you'll never be ready. And in a way, that's true. But if you actually feel like you're ready, you're more apt to feel a little less shocked when the reality of parenting kicks in, versus like if you weren't ready at all. I would say wait until you feel less on the fence and more just like, you know what, I am ready for this, and I'm ready to put my energy into another human being and all of that time. And once you get there mentally, it'll be, you just want to know for sure that it's, once it happens, it is a lifelong commitment. So just be ready to have that lifelong commitment. And once you feel like you are, then I would say just go for it, you know? It's a beautiful thing. Advice for battling infertility and jealousy, starting IVF this month. Well, I wish I had advice, but back when I was trying to conceive, I was one of the most jealous people. I couldn't see pregnancy announcements without feeling like, wow, cool, good for you. You tried 1 month and got pregnant, awesome. I was super bitter and super jealous, and I really don't have much advice other than I kind of had to stop following everybody that was hurting my mental health and not making me feel good. I wish I had better advice other than you have to just know for yourself what's going to make you feel better. And if seeing people get pregnant or following that kind of content is hard for you, you might want to just, you know, dip out for a while until you can mentally handle it. I never really did. It took me stopping trying to conceive before I could start seeing people get pregnant and feel like genuine excitement for them. I wish I had better advice for you, but it's really hard. Trying to conceive is extremely difficult, and seeing people conceive when you are so desperately trying is crushing and really hard. And my heart goes out to you because I just know how much in the depths of my soul I wanted nothing more. I feel for you because I know how hard it is. So I wish I had better advice for you, but I didn't do very well at it. So I can't just sit here and lie and say like, oh, just do this and it'll be better, because I was very bitter. How has your and Zach's relationship changed for the better or worse since baby? We stare at each other in awe and amazement and cry every single day over this little baby. We actually do. Like, it's just something that we can't even handle, because he's gotten to this point where he's starting to, like, his little personality is out, and he's funny. He is funny. He does his little bubble blowing silliness. He does these little squeals that are so darling. He smiles at me every time I smile at him. If he sees me across the room, he gets so excited. We just have such a good time together. We go for family walks all the time. So we have bonded in a completely different way. Like, we just didn't know that we could create something so perfect. We don't get as much time to sit and have like deep conversations, but we try to every single day, especially since now, you know, bedtime's getting easier and stuff. We're not trying to focus too deeply on where we're at in this stage of our life right now as far as our relationship is concerned, because we're still very strong. Things have changed, but things change every single day. So I'm not trying to like be like, oh, you know, things have changed so much. It's like, it is what it is. I feel like we're still really on the same page, and we have very, very similar values and parenting techniques. So thank God for that, because I think if we didn't, we might butt heads a little bit more. But yeah, we're doing pretty good. What is the best and worst part about living way out in nature? The isolation would be the best and the worst. It's the best though. Like, I love it. I love being able to sit out here on my porch and not have a single soul know I'm even out here. I love that, because if I were to do this in town, like, I would have people driving by and yelling things, oh, loser. Like, I had that shit all the time. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, but back when I was doing my Halloween videos and I was filming in my backyard, this whole group of teenagers came out and started screaming things at me. I mean, granted, I was dressed like a witch in my backyard doing potions over a cauldron, but you know, I digress. But then when I was out filming as Pennywise, normal, everybody does that in a town, right? This group of teenagers drove by and threw packets of ketchup at me. That's what being in public is, and that might be why I hate people. Living out here, you don't have any of that. It's very peaceful. It's very secluded. No, I am not afraid of the animals. A lot of people ask that all the time, like, aren't you afraid of the bears? Aren't you afraid of the cougars? No, they are not around. I mean, and I carry bear spray with me everywhere, so we're good. But I'm not like afraid of them, because animals aren't just out here approaching people. I mean, if you come across like a mama bear and her babies, watch out, but you're not going to. I mean, I just tell you, the family that lived here before us lived here for 25 years and 4 kids, never had any issues. How has your outlook on life changed since having a baby? You know what? It's made me have excitement and childlike wonder for things again. I get excited to have, like, to put a swing set out on the property, and to like build a little sandbox, and to go places and show him things. I kind of lost my care for things, you know, like holidays and like doing things. I was just kind of like, what's the point, before having him. And now that I have him, like, he has made me excited about all the things I cared about as I was a kid, and to show him and to give him in his childhood. So having him has changed every outlook on life. I just want to grow more food to have us be healthier, to go outside to have us be healthier and go for walks and to see nature. It has really connected me to the earth a lot more, and to just realizing how finite our time is here and how little time we actually have here on this earth, and to take as much advantage of that as possible, and to give him a life full of positivity and happiness, because there is enough darkness and evil out in the world, and I just don't think that I need to be concerning my child with any of that. And a lot of people are like, it's a hard world, and it's like, while I have him young, I want him to stay young and enjoy his childhood to the fullest, and he can experience what life is like as an adult. He's got the rest of his life for that. But while he's young, I want to fill his life with wonder and amazement and happiness. That is like my goal. I just want to have him have the best childhood. I want him to look back on his childhood and be just like, that was such a good time. Someone else asked, what is my biggest fear now that I have him? I don't even like speaking these things out loud. I'm gonna knock on wood. Something happening to him getting some kind of illness or disease, or just, I think that's every parent's biggest fear, is something bad happening to their children. But I know that it would ruin my life. And I don't even like speaking this stuff out loud, because I feel like it just manifests it into reality. But I know that I would never recover. And I know that for a fact. It's not like maybe I would. I know I wouldn't. So I just can't have it happen. I cry about it every single day. I don't even want to think about it, especially because TikTok really shows me a lot of that content. It knows that I'm a new parent because of like the things that I consume on TikTok. And so it sends me a lot of really scary and horrible, sad things. And I get that people are sharing their stories and just trying to get the word out about things, but man, it's so hard when you see that stuff. It just immediately, you see your child in that, and it's just crushing. And I feel so sick for every parent that's had to go through any of this and just see their children go through anything bad. It's just, I can't. I don't know how people do it. I can't cry right now because I literally had a cluster headache this morning, and it's still lingering because I've been crying. Crying is like my biggest trigger for headaches, and I've had 3 of them this week because I just can't stop crying thinking about my child. And not in a postpartum way, in like a, he's growing up too fast. People, sincere question, living in the Pacific Northwest woods, do you worry about Sasquatch? It's funny because believing in Sasquatch is like a thing that people do in Washington. That's like a thing. Like, we believe in Bigfoot here. We believe in Sasquatch. I don't. So people would say that's because of my Capricorn. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but I'm the biggest skeptic in the entire world with shit like that. So I don't believe in Sasquatch. I don't believe in Bigfoot. I don't know if that means that something's going to happen now because I said that. That's all I'm saying. I'm more scared of like people than I am of any of that. How can you grow your YouTube channel in today's YouTube climate? I have less than 1,000 followers. You know what? I wish I knew. I don't know what the answer is. The only thing I will tell you right now in this, not even just now, this is just in general to all creators anywhere who want to grow any sort of platform ever, is to be authentic to yourself. Try, if you can, not to act like other YouTubers or Instagrammers or influencers that you follow. It's really hard because when you first get in front of a camera, you try to just put on some kind of like, it's hard not to put on some kind of persona and just to sit down and literally just be normal. But how I frame it, and this is the best way that I can explain it to you of how to be, talk to the camera like you are actually sitting down and talking to your friend and sitting in front of you. Don't try to put on an act. Don't try to do anything. You want it to be like, if somebody met you in a grocery store, you are the exact same person that you are on your YouTube channel. And there's a reason for that, because you can act like somebody else all day long, but that is who they are. And that's why they have their following, because they are acting like themselves, but now you are acting like them. So don't do that. Be who you are authentically to your core, and that will do you so much better because you are you, and that's what people are going to subscribe for, because you can only maintain a persona for so long, and people don't want to see that shit anyway. I know I don't want to watch somebody just be some fake ass version of themselves, and it's pretty obvious when people are. So just be yourself, and that is the best way you can grow. It's very annoying to hear because it's like, wow, really helpful. No, it really is helpful. Be you. How has your body / self-image been affected by becoming a mom? Positive, negative? So I've talked about this in the past. I'm gonna link a video up here about why I don't care what I look like, and all of that still rings true. I don't care what I look like. My body looks like what it looks like. I can sit there and rub all kinds of butters and all kinds of oils on myself. I could stress about what my stomach looks like. I can worry about how it stretched versus how it deflated. I can be concerned about the amount of stretch marks that I have, or the amount of hair growth that I have in certain places, or hair loss in other places. But simply stressing about those things, in my opinion, does nothing. All it does is make me worry about something that's really out of my control. I can eat healthy, I can exercise, and I can survive and live. That's all I can do. The hair that will fall out will fall out. The dimples that will be there will be there. The skin stretches the way it stretches, and it deflates the way it deflates, and that just is what it is. I do not care about what my body looks like. It's irrelevant to the person that I am, and I still stand by that 100%. I don't concern myself with that kind of stuff, because if it's just one more thing that I can worry about, and I'm a worrier by nature, and I don't want to worry about one more thing. To me, this body keeps me alive, and that's all I can ask of it. I don't really care what it looks like in the process, because for me, when I was stressing about that, it robbed me of great experiences. It robbed me of having a good time. I was just so concerned about pulling, and it doesn't matter. Nobody's looking at me and thinking, God, look at her body. Who cares? Who cares? And if you are somebody that looks at me and judges me for the shape of my body, or how my skin looks stretched, or how deep my belly button is, or how many hip dips I have, or how my belly hangs over, you're not somebody who I give a shit anyway. Because if you're somebody that judges people for that, or laughs at people, or makes fun of people for that, well, you're not somebody I fucking like. So get out of here with that. So that's how I don't care. No, my body image hasn't changed at all since having him. I feel fine. Feel exactly like I did before. That's for me personally. I know that some people struggle with that, and that is to each person's individual, path. I'm not telling anyone how to feel or how not to feel. Some people, it is a big part of their identity, and I totally get it. It used to be a huge part of mine. It's honestly something I stressed and obsessed about for years, and once I let that go out of my worry and concern, my life got exponentially better. So that's how I have to live now. There's a big old crabby spider looking at me. He's coming this way. Don't. Do you have a libido anymore? I talked about that it was literally gone in my last video, and now it is definitely back more. I got my first postpartum period, which is very irritating. I just am finishing it up right now, and it was painful and the heaviest period I've ever had in my entire life, ever. It was unbelievable. Like, I'm just gonna go into it here, so it might be TMI for some of you, but I do have a video all about period cups, so if you guys are interested and you wanna know about menstrual cups, up there. Normally, I have to change it like once every 12 hours. I was changing it like once every 3 hours, and it was overflowing. Like, that's what we're talking about. Like, it was literally like 10 times the amount. But my libido came back a bit before that, so I assume I was ovulating when that came back, and I am still exclusively breastfeeding, no formula or bottles or anything like that, no food yet so far. So I don't know, it just came back, and my libido was definitely higher before that, and that was really, really positive. I was really happy about that, because I was like, is it gone forever? What do you do to pass your time when your baby is asleep or you're not working on the house? Oh, that's it. It's the only thing I do. It's always either YouTube or working on the house. But he only sleeps for 30 minutes at a time, so really not a lot. His naps are extremely short, and we're just getting through it one day at a time. He's doing okay though, even with these short naps. It's not like he's an extreme grump when he's awake. We go for walks every day as a family, mowing the lawn, taking care of the house, doing decor stuff, cooking. Like, that's the kind of stuff that we're up to these days, just honestly living life. And those are what I can do during his like nap times, and working. I'm putting more effort into like this channel and the other channel, and trying to get up content and trying to, you know, maintain my community here online, because I really do value you guys and care. And so that's kind of what I've been doing. Tell me what to expect with peel and stick wallpaper. I saw your stories and I need tips. So if you guys did not see, I did a huge project in our bedroom by putting up this peel and stick wallpaper, and I am posting this because I filmed the whole thing. I was gonna do like a whole before and after. I was gonna do a TikTok thing on it. I was gonna talk about it on YouTube and show you guys before and after of the nursery area, and it took me 2 solid days to put up this wallpaper. Peel and stick vinyl wallpaper was one of the most frustrating and difficult things I've ever worked with, but I finished it, okay? I got it all done. As you can see, here's what it looked like, and oh my gosh, what a darling wallpaper. And I noticed that it smelled really, really bad when we put it up. Like, it smelled very strongly of plastic. You guys know the smell. It smells like a big pool, you know? When I finished putting it up, and I did it all by myself, and it took me forever, far enough away, stand back and you got the vibe of what it was gonna look like, but if you got up close, it was full of bubbles, it was not lined up, very difficult to work with. So I put it up, and Zach was like, God, the smell in here is just so strong. And I was like, well, yeah, but it's just a smell. And he was like, well, that smell is bad, you know? And I was like, well, what do you mean? And I know that sounds really ignorant and dumb, but I just thought when plastic smelled like, that's just what plastic smelled like. And he was like, no, those are the VOCs. Like, it was like the volatility of the product. So I looked up vinyl peel and stick wallpaper, and I was trying to find out, like, is it safe? Because I didn't even think anything of it. And when I Googled it, I did not find a singular website that says it's safe, go ahead and use it, especially around children. Apparently it can cause all kinds of issues like asthma, it can cause brain development issues, it can cause cancer. They say that it's a carcinogen, and I had no idea. And so I went to their website and I scoured it, being like, did I just miss this information? Did I not see it? Did I not know what this was? And like, is it in the FAQ? Is it listed underneath the product? Is it anywhere saying that this is harmful to be around? And the answer is no, I could not find it anywhere on the website. That doesn't mean it's not there, but I could not find it. And so after 2 days of time away from my son, after such frustrating, like, hours and hours spent trying to put this shit up, I had to tear it all down. And then we had to sleep on the couch that night because the smell was so strong that I just couldn't even believe it. So I'm doing this as a PSA to you. It is apparently completely unsafe to have in your home, and it's sold all the time for children's rooms. It's in all kinds of patterns in children's rooms, and I had a lot of people reaching out to me that work for natural wallpaper companies that are made out of like fabric or paper that aren't plastic, that people saying that there's PVC in the plastic ones, and that's why they're so harmful to humans, and breathing it in and the off-gassing and everything. People were in my DMs agreeing and saying, yes, it is that harmful, and I work for a company and it really is that bad. I couldn't believe it. How can they sell this for children's rooms if it's actually that harmful to be around? it really pissed me off because I spent a ton of money on that shit to literally rip it off and throw it in the trash. And I was so upset. Time, money. I'm actually going to email the company and talk to them about it because I feel like that needs to be listed on their website. It's just like when you get a product in the mail and it says like, you know, Prop 65, this is known in the state of California to cause cancer. They say that it off-gases for a really long time and it continues being harmful. And it was literally directly next to my baby's bassinet. So I was really, really upset about that and frankly pissed off that they could even sell a product like that that would be around children without disclosing that information. It's your choice if you want to buy something like that, but it's got to be, you know, I feel like a disclosed known thing. It pissed me off and it really upset me, and I was really, really like, I was heartbroken about it. So I just wanted to give you guys that PSA here on YouTube, because if you missed my stories, well, there you go. Would you stop YouTube if you could? No, it's so interesting. So I took 3 months off when I had him. In that time was like, oh man, it's gonna be hard to go back. But now that I am back to YouTube, it's very interesting. It's like, I didn't realize how much, I hate to say even self-worth, but like, so much of myself I do find worth in with YouTube. I really enjoy having this community here and talking to you guys and having this space to connect with people around the world. No, I wouldn't stop YouTube. If anything, I love creating content so much that I just want to be able to do it more. Gosh, I would put up videos every day if I could. And I am trying really hard to balance life outside of YouTube with life on it. And I'm just doing my best right now. And the second channel is really where a lot of that focus is going to be in the future. I mean, obviously the same amount of content will go up on this channel, but we also are really diving into that one. We really care about it so much. I love that channel so much. I love this one too. I love them both and in their own ways. And I just really want to do more, honestly. Asking if I would do less if I could. No, I want to do more. This person says, how is your arm doing, and can you share about the day that you fell with your baby boy? Yeah, so if you guys didn't know, if you didn't follow on Instagram, when he was 9 weeks old, it was the evening. It was about 7 or 7:30 p.m. We were about ready to go to bed. I just changed his diaper and put his jammies on, and I was going downstairs to get a glass of water. And when I walked down the top stair, my sock slipped on the stair. Trust me, I know not to wear socks on the stairs now, but it just happened. I didn't have my grippy socks on, and my sock went over, like, you know, there's like the edge to a stair. My foot slipped like this when I was holding him, and I fell down the entire length of stairs by myself. Like, I fell down the whole flight of stairs, and he fell out of my arms on like the third stair from the top. And it was 1 second, you guys. Like, it was 1 second I was at the top of the stairs with him, and then before I knew it, I was at the bottom, and I literally came to screaming bloody murder. Zach was running out of the bathroom. He scooped him up, and thank God I was injured, but not him. In that moment, I thought he's gonna have a concussion. He hit his head, something's gonna happen, because he was like silent crying, you know, that like silence that, you know, that like before the scream, and his face was all red, and I turned around, and I have never heard a noise come out of myself like that. Like, it was inconsolable. I swore this was my biggest fear, and it was from the day he was born. I was like, I'm gonna fall down these stairs with him. I just have a feeling. And I didn't even think about the fact that I was wearing socks on those stairs, and now barefoot completely all the time, like 100%. And I go really slow these days. And it was horrifying. We immediately called 911. The ambulances came, picked us up. We kept him awake because we were concerned about a concussion. He didn't even hit his head. There were no marks on his head. He only had one little mark on his ankle, so he hit his ankle on the stairs, which you guys, honestly, I was traumatized for days. I had to do extra therapy after that. It was the worst thing that's ever happened. Like, for me, it was so horrifically terrible. I tore my shoulder really badly. I couldn't lift my arm for at least a couple of weeks. It's still pretty rough. It's really sore right here. It's fine, but I can't like lift my arm a certain way. There's like a certain way that really injures it, like right here. Yeah, it's really stiff. He was perfectly fine and never had any issues, but I was really traumatized from that, and I couldn't carry him down the stairs for about the next month without fear. I had to have Zach carrying him up and down the stairs. He was perfectly fine to do that. It was horrifyingly scary. It was, I'm able to talk about it right now, but I was literally so traumatized. Like, I kept getting like flashbacks of it, and just picturing his little body laying there on the stairs, just so small. He's perfectly fine. Nothing happened to him. In fact, I think my body protected him because I took the entire brunt of the fall. I fell down the entire flight of stairs, but he was on, I think, the second or third stair from the top. I think that honestly, he fell directly out of my arms and didn't even hit that hard, because he had no injury on him at all and seemingly didn't hit at all. It was terrible, but we're both okay. And I don't even care that I got injured, as long as like he's fine, and he's perfectly fine. Never had any issues since then, thank God. This person said, why are you always sad? Well, I literally am not always sad. I did struggle after having a baby. That's the thing. I'm gonna go into this in this video. I didn't think I would, but so when you're struggling yourself, like I had postpartum anxiety and postpartum depression, and it did go away. I'd say like about 4 months or so, like the fog kind of lifted, and I feel much better. And I didn't end up doing medication or anything like that. It just got a lot better with like just time. Honestly, I feel like it was just time. But I remember asking myself, why don't people share about this online? Why is this such a taboo topic? Why aren't more people talking about this? Especially since when I did talk about it, there were literally thousands of people in my comments saying, I dealt with this too. And I thought, well, why don't people talk about this? I'll tell you why. Because when you do, you open yourself up to criticism, people being like, well, you should be grateful. Why are you always sad? How come you talk so fast? Why are you so anxious? People don't share about it because those are the responses you get when you do. When you open yourself up to criticism. And honestly, it's really fucked up because I'll tell you what, right now, I'm not always sad. I'm actually an extremely happy person. I try to see the positive in outlook, but I'm also not a liar. And if I'm experiencing something, I want to talk about it because likely if I'm feeling it, somebody else out there has too, and it might help somebody. And that's the thing, is that people don't share, I assume, because of questions like this. It's very irritating that once I started sharing about having postpartum anxiety, the questions on my YouTube video, people say, whoa, you're really talking really fast. I can tell you're anxious in this video. Please don't do that. That's really, really fucking rude to do to somebody, especially when I'm doing my best, I'm trying, and I've just been honest with you. People can lie, people will sugarcoat, and people will not talk about their struggles if that's the response to speaking about your struggles. And that's the biggest issue that I take with being honest, is that when you're honest, people are like, whoa, why are you so sad all the time? Why are you so anxious all the time? I'm just being honest with you. But I won't be if this is going to be the response. I'll simply just sugarcoat it if that's what you'd rather me do. But then people are like, why does everyone sugarcoat everything? Because when we don't, that's the response that we get. So I'm going to continue to be honest, but comments like that are why people don't share. It's very frustrating. Nobody wants to be made to feel like by being honest, they've opened themselves up to this unnecessary criticism. You know, there might be people out there who didn't struggle, and that's amazing. And I wish that that were the case for everybody. It sucks to have to feel like you're alone in feelings, or, you know, having to feel like maybe I shouldn't feel this way, or why do I feel this way? But simply just being honest, like, shouldn't be met with people judging from that honesty. Because guess what? That's exactly how people feel isolated, you know, maybe feel like alone in their journey or their struggles, because they're like, well, I guess I'm the only one who feels this way. No, maybe other people just feel like they can't share because the judgment is too strong. And I have never in my life experienced a judgment as strong and harsh as when I became a mother. It is unrelenting, and other moms are fucking mean, man. They are mean and judgmental, and if you don't do it the way that they did, then you're a bad mom. And if you did it the way that they did it, you didn't do it right. And you shouldn't have kids. So that's honestly what it's like. And it's really, really, really terrible. And I hate that. I hate it so much. So I'm not always sad. I'm actually very happy. I'm just honest. I love my life, and I'm enjoying this stage of my life more than I've enjoyed any other stage of my life. This question says, do I have a right to be selfish and not want to be a mother? 100%. Do it if you want to do it, but absolutely don't feel pressured in any way to do something that is a lifelong, very serious commitment if you don't feel ready to do that. It's not selfish either. You're welcome to not want to have children. I don't know why that is like a thing. Yeah, if you want to, hell yes, it's so wonderful. If you don't want to, life was also wonderful before children. So don't feel like you have to be pressured into doing something that you don't want to do, because you're going to have resentment towards that. So you're not selfish, but if you feel like you want to be, that's totally fine. It's your life. Nobody else has to live it but you. So live it the way that you want to. Have you been able to stop yourself from Googling things that worsen your anxiety? Yes, I have not Googled in like a month and a half, 2 months. And it's changed everything for me. Literally not reinforcing my anxiety is the ticket. It's the key. It's not helpful, and it is harmful. And once I stopped Googling and stopped looking up symptoms and stopped trying to find things about conditions or this or that or this or that, it has helped me immensely. And I think that is it for this video today. Thank you guys so much for asking these awesome questions and for, you know, always being there. You guys are an awesome community, and I so appreciate having you guys around, and I will see you at my next video. Bye. God, these hummingbirds are This question is what? I'm talking?